Yes, I got arrested in Bali for filming. So it was about time they came to the embassy so they could watch it in person.
She was arrested in Bali, deported, and then banned for a decade. That should have been the end of the story, right? Nope. Instead, Bonnie Blue is accused of showing up outside the Indonesian embassy in London and sparked a whole new criminal case and a possible jail sentence. What did she do? And how did this spiral from what, a $13 fine to now a charge in the UK? We're gonna break it down. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber.
By the way, I absolutely love the Sidebar introduction from Law and Crime Network. This guy Jesse Weber that hosts this particular show. They have several shows on Law and Crime Network, but the Sidebar shows I absolutely love because their introduction is the music they play in the background. I love it. But anyway, if you haven't been keeping up with this young lady that you saw on the introduction, you might say, you know what? Well, let me put this again another way. If you have been keeping up with her profession and her trajectory and her profession, you might say she absolutely loves her job, right? She puts a lot of time and effort into what she does, and you'd be right, okay? Now, let's give a quick backstory for those of y'all that don't know who she is. Bonnie Blue, otherwise known or better known as Tia Billinger, okay? Professional mattress actress. She hails from England. And she specializes in these mass shagging events, if you will. And if you don't know what shagging is, Google it. It is the British term for intercourse.
Oh, behave.
And she likes to do these shows much like people like Lily Phillips and others that try to break world records and see how many times they can get their ticket punched before they need to go to the hospital. Okay? And Bonnie Blue tried this in Indonesia, and she was cleared of their moral laws or things like that, and she got banned for 10 years, okay? You see here, this was in December 2025, so this just happened a few months ago. Actually, the event happened, I think, in November, and she was held for a few weeks. Then in December, they finally said, you know what? We're not gonna charge you. We're just gonna send you back home and you can't come back for 10 years. And she'll be an older woman by then, but she might still be into this kind of stuff. I don't know. If so, they might have to ban it for another 10 years, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Any case, she was in Bali, Indonesia. She brought her van, her vehicle, which you'll see the writing on it soon. She brought her vehicle to try to recruit young men, as she always does, to try to help them with their droughts, if you will, okay? And I think someone in the town alerted law enforcement that she was going to be trying to pull some foolishness. And of course, Indonesian people, they don't like this type of debauchery. They end up talking to law enforcement. Law enforcement got a hold of it, found her plot, arrested her, and the rest is history, right? And that brings us here. They sent her back to the UK, and you're thinking, well, she might go to a different country and try something different. What this woman did was, and she got kicked out of Indonesia, out of Bali, right? And so what she did was she went to the Indonesian embassy in England.
Enemy spotted.
Guess what she tried to do? Let's let Jesse Weber do his thing. By the way, fair use again to Law and Crime.
Meant to be packing and then heading back to immigration. But all immigration want to do is keep interrogating me. I've told them they're obsessed with me at this point.
Yes, I got arrested in Bali for filming. So it was about time they came to the embassy so they could watch it in person.
You remember her? That's Bonnie Blue, real name Tia Billinger, the British adult content creator who went to Bali, got herself arrested on the Bang bus, stared down, what, a 15-year potential prison sentence in, by the way, an Indonesian prison, and then walked away with a $12, $13 fine and a decade-long ban from the country. We thought that was it. We thought that that chapter was over, right? She got deported, she went home, end of the story. Except guess what? According to authorities, it wasn't. Because according to police, she then decided right
Bruv, that is going to be probably my thumbnail. Enemy spotted. Good night. I mean, talk about assume the position, huh? I mean, goddamn.
after coming back from Indonesia, she allegedly decided to pay a visit to the Indonesian embassy in London, surrounded by masked men holding their flag, okay, the Indonesian flag, and allegedly mimicking a sex act right outside the gate. Now, spoiler.
Now, that's when, of course, you saw the video just a second ago when she was like this and they blurred out. Well, most of you, any of you adults out there with any type of common sense and have seen or engaged in this type of behavior before, or I would say activity, you know exactly what she was signaling there, right? I don't got to tell you.
Yeah, baby.
They didn't love that because now she has been charged with the crime of outraging public decency by London police. She could potentially face up to 6 months in prison. And she's also due in court next month. So now the question is, what is going on here? She's back in the news. We got to talk about it.
No, guys, I am actually pregnant. So Bonnie Blue's breeding mission, turns out it was actually a success.
I guess I got to take a...
I mean, does anybody really think that that woman got pregnant? I mean, come on.
Nick, you're stupid.
Her getting pregnant, she'd lose a bag, right? Like, nah, there's no way this woman got pregnant. I mean, I'm pretty sure that was to further entice men because some men have this type of fetish, if you will, of getting women, of impregnating women, okay? And there's yeah, we're not going to get into that. But anyway, I think that was just a further stunt because I saw that in the media too, and I didn't cover it because I knew it was BS anyway. She does this stuff to, entice men. That way, when to hype people up to when she gets ready to do this big event, everybody's got their testosterone flowing to get ready to go in there, even though, hopefully you're not the last guy to go through this, 500 or 1,000 man romp because, wow.
Back, right? Because if you're just joining us and you have no idea who that is or what a breeding mission means, let's buckle up here, okay? You're about to learn a lot. That voice belongs to Bonnie Blue, real name Tia Billinger. She's a 26-year-old British adult content creator. And if you haven't heard of her yet, here's the short version, okay? She makes her money online. She travels the world. It appears that she has a very specific talent for getting herself into trouble in countries with very strict laws. And the trouble started late last year, November of 2025. We covered this here on Sidebar. Bonnie Blue lands in Bali, Indonesia. Now, if you know anything about Indonesia, you know they take morality and anti-pornography laws incredibly seriously, like decades in prison seriously. Now, Bonnie rolls in with a truck, a literal truck, by the way. She bought it for like about $1,200, painted it blue, slapped a logo on the side that said, and I kid you not, Bonnie Blue's Bang Bus.
Hey parents, remember when I said I was going to pick your sons up?
I mean, that's one hell of a way to market yourself, right? To plaster your name and essentially what you're there for across the entire bus, all four sides of it, right? Which, all four sides of her gets plastered too, by the way. But anyway, she goes there and she rides through the whole town with this bus. So, I mean, it's clear to see what she's there for. And so anybody that sees this know that she's up to no good. And, well, that's how she got caught in Bali.
Hi, boys.
They are ready for action. You see that, boy?
No, Bali Schoolies is back this year. For sure.
Yeah, Schoolies, that's what they call the annual week-long party where Australian high school graduates celebrate finishing school. So super young. And
by the way, why has nobody talked about her possibly being a predator? I mean, if a man was doing this, if a man because Bonnie Blue is what? It got to be in her like mid-20s, right? If a man of any age would be going after high school age women, which y'all would call they're not fully developed, okay? These guys got to be 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, right? I would say at least from 16 to 19, graduating high school. Women would say this man would be a creep. He's a monster. He's a PDF, right? But Bonnie Blue does it, and yeah, she gets slaps on the wrist, basically, okay? Why nobody talks about how she's a monster? She's going after schoolies, and you heard what the term is, right? men or individuals that have recently graduated high school in the UK. It's a slang nickname term. She's going after these young men that are fresh off the boat. I mean, something to think about, you guys and gals, if you're listening.
But adults, super young, not minors. And Bonnie's plan was to drive that bus around Bali, pick up guys, and let's just say make content. Spoiler alert again, the locals noticed. Not too happy. December 5th, police raid a studio in an area called Pereranan. Apologies if I mispronounced it. They seize cameras, phones, condoms, USB drives, the whole kit. They detain Bonnie Blue and 3 other men, so 2 British, 1 Australian, and another 14 guys are questioned and ultimately released. Now, initially, it's pretty terrifying, right? We're talking about Indonesia, their anti-pornography laws. Conviction could mean up to 15 years in prison. And the headlines, write for themselves. But then something happens. Police start going through the footage, and according to the International Business Times in the Mirror, they realize something. There's no nudity. There's no genitalia. There's no explicit sex acts actually being filmed, at least nothing they could prove was made for public distribution. And a police spokesperson actually told the press then, quote, when they were raided, they were making collab content about a game where the winner would sleep with Bonnie Blue. No pornographic activities or acts have been found in the collaborative content.
Now, I assume the law enforcement in Bali probably prematurely raided this woman's establishment, if you will, her temporary establishment in Bali, because maybe if that had waited another, 3-4 days, they might have actually caught some explicit content. But this was probably like the pregame for her, right? If they had waited a little while longer, she probably would have actually committed the act or went through with the event, and then they probably could actually got her or something. But I think maybe they jumped the gun, so to speak, on this raid, and because of that, they couldn't actually charge her with anything because, well, essentially she hadn't done it yet, in my opinion. So they let her go, and they slapped a ban on her because they knew what her intent to be there was in the first place. So that's where the ban came from, I assume.
In the end, there was no pornography charges. Now, that doesn't mean that she walks free, because now immigration steps in. And their problem isn't what she was filming, it's that she was filming at all. She was in Indonesia on a tourist visa. You're not allowed to work on a tourist visa, and driving around in a bang bus making commercial content, that's basically work.
Get ready with me for trial. I've only just woken up and I've got 20 minutes. I really wanted to wear my schoolies t-shirt. The family have strongly said don't.
That video was posted the morning of her court date, December 12th. So she walks into the Denpasar District Court with the 3 guys who got arrested alongside her. And here's where it gets almost comical. So the judge finds her, not for pornography, not even for visa violations, at least not directly. She gets fined for a traffic violation because the bus, it was untaxed. It was illegally repainted. The driver didn't have a proper license. And the fine was 200,000 Indonesian rupiah. It's about $13 US.
Ever wondered what deportation looks like? Well, this is it.
So she pays the $13, but immigration isn't done. They deport her. They kick her out of the country, and they slap her with a 10-year ban from ever coming back to Indonesia. Their official statement says her activities were, and I quote, inconsistent with the government's efforts to maintain Bali's quality tourism image, and that she showed a lack of respect for local cultural values. So, Bonnie Blue gets on a plane. She flies home to the UK. And for about, maybe 48 hours, that's it. Story's over.
So it's past 30 minutes. They're saying we can't eat her for no other reason. It's under investigation, but they've got absolutely full evidence. So she genuinely never met anyone with a tiny immigration in Bali.
December 15th, same week she gets back, she allegedly shows up outside the Indonesian embassy in London. It's about a mile.
Wait a minute. Because I think I covered that whole thing about her in Bali. You mean tell me as soon as she got home, she started this freaking campaign of another event?
Bitch, ain't no way.
Wow.
Ain't no fucking way.
She did not waste she did not waste any time.
From Buckingham Palace, she's surrounded by men, or appears to be surrounded by men in hoods and masks, and she's holding an Indonesian flag pinned to her skirt, trailing on the ground. and she allegedly proceeds to mimic a sex act right there on the street.
Yes, I got arrested in Bali for filming. So it was about time they came to the embassy so they could watch it in person.
The video goes viral. Indonesia notices. Their embassy apparently files a formal complaint with UK authorities. And then what happens? Now she's being charged by London's Metropolitan Police with outraging public decency. And just so we're clear what that means, I looked it up on the website, the Royal Crown Prosecution website. It is a common law offense in the UK. It covers any act in public that's lewd, obscene, or disgusting, the kind of thing that falls outside the normal exposure laws but still crosses a line. And if convicted, she's looking at up to 6 months in prison, and maybe what's known as an unlimited fine or a major fine, or both. Her next court date is set for April 22nd at Westminster Magistrates Court. So now we've got big questions. How does a $13 traffic fine in Bali turn into a possible jail sentence in London? Will evidence from there come into this case? What happens when a diplomatic complaint becomes a criminal case? What does this mean for someone whose entire brand is pushing boundaries? Could she end up behind bars? We're going to bring in somebody who actually understands how this works. But first, okay, to understand this, to try to at least understand this anyway, you got to understand who Bonnie Blue actually is. Not the headlines, the person. And luckily, she documents like everything.
I'm the girl that...
Yes, she does. I don't follow her on social media, but like I said, every once in a while something like this comes up because, well, she documents everything. So, I mean, she makes her life public. She makes her profession public. And she make no bones about how much she likes it. You've seen her on different podcasts and does interviews, and every time she does it, she says that she would never change what she does. She's actually said she's doing a service to the public or to men to help them out. Maybe, you know, they're a husband, they're having a job in their marriage, and maybe they're a young man and they haven't experienced intercourse yet and things like that. And so she says she's actually helping the community by, you know, freely giving of herself and her time and efforts, if you will. Okay?
The one that takes your son's virginity and has no issue making your husband cheat.
That's how she introduces herself to the world. 26 years old, real name Tia Billinger, worth reportedly around £3 million, and her whole brand is pushing buttons, testing limits, seeing what happens. And here's what happened in Bali.
Just done my skincare, picked out an airport outfit, then heading back to immigration to be interrogated. 20 guys, 1 girl, so you best believe that video is going to get uploaded as soon as I'm back.
That's her talking about her Bali interrogation. Phone seized, facing years in prison, and she's laughing. This is Bonnie Blue arriving for questioning at the immigration office in Bali. Now, according to the report on the scene, when asked by reporters if she intended to make more explicit content in Bali, she replied, "Subscribe and you'll find out." All right, so whenever I talk about international issues, apparently whenever I talk about Bonnie Blue, I bring on international law attorney David Teferi.
Okay, now they're going to go into a question and answer period, but you guys get the gist of what's going on here, right? Bonnie Blue has made her profession of, you know, being a habitual line stepper when it comes to what she likes to do. And again, like you saw in the video, she made no bones about, she's very unapologetic about what she likes to do and who she doesn't mind doing it with, whether it's the young man, whether it's the husband, boyfriend, you know, man on the street if he's clean, all that kind of stuff, right? Everything about her is content. And she's made a substantially good amount of money. She's won the, I guess, the 1% or 3% on OnlyFans, probably, stuff like that. And again, she pushes boundaries in that how she's able to make a crap ton of money, all right? So, again, if there's a update in this case, we'll see how it goes. But other than that, Bonnie Blue is back in the news yet again in her own country for trying to push up on the Indonesian men at the embassy. We'll see how it goes, all right? And with that being said, thank you for attending another episode of the Working Man Podcast. I am your host, Nicholas J. Fury. Let me know down in the comment section, if Bonnie Blue is ever in your town, your city, your country, would you participate in one of her mass romps? Okay, would you like to see how she gets pounded into, you know, next week? Or, you know, would you say, you know, I wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole? She's probably highly radioactive, but she's a nice looking woman. Let me know what you think about it down in the comment section. And if you're a woman, if you think this is disgusting or would you want to be Bonnie Blue, let me know as well in the comment section. And as always, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell. We're out of the door, and I will see you on the next video.